So as you can see here in this stack, these are all the books that I finished this month, and in total they are 8 physical books and 1 audiobook. So let's get started. If you watched my previous book review video, I actually read the Court of Thorns book. So that's the first book in the ACOTAR series, and this month I actually finished all of them. So let's get started with my reviews for each book in the ACOTAR series. I'm going to be very honest with you, no sugarcoating whatsoever. So, for the second book of the series, I finished A Court of Mist and Fury, and I actually started this towards the end of last month, and I rated this book 2 out of 5 stars because, to be honest with you, most of the time it was a bit dragging towards this part of the book. It was only during the end of the story where it got a bit more interesting. I'm trying not to give out too much spoilers just in case if you haven't read it yet, but let's just say that the couple of the book here, the story kind of picks up a bit more, but honestly, I'm not really a big fan of our main couple. Maybe it's just because I don't really like the enemies to lovers trope unless it's done well, which in my opinion, this one didn't really do too well. And I did see a lot of people talk about, oh, chapter 54, that's where it gets all crazy, all serious. And it was just okay for me. It wasn't like, wow, my mind has been blown. Oh my god, this happened. But it was just okay at most. And I did do it a 2 out of 5 because I was really pushing myself so hard to finish this. And I was really thinking, oh my god, why am I still reading it? Why am I still continuing this series? But towards the end of the story, that's where a whole twist just happened. Everything crazy was happening in the story. There was just a lot going on in the ending, which made me really push myself to read the third book. This is the A Court of Wings and Ruins. So I rated this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one despite how long it is. I really liked how the characters of our story developed even more. There was so much more life, so much more personality with everyone because I felt like in the first book, there was like an unclear writing of what each character is supposed to be like. I couldn't have an opinion on anyone because it's like, I don't really care. I don't really care about anyone in the story. But in this book, that's where it picked up a lot better. Meeting many other characters, it was very fun. So I really enjoyed this one. So yeah, this one's 4 out of 5. And then for the fourth book in the series, it's A Court of Frost and Starlight. So this one is more of like a novella, that's why it is a bit shorter. I actually enjoyed this one because it's very slice of life and I already know what each character is like. It made me really feel connected. I really felt the bond of everyone, which is the trope that I like. I like the found family trope, which is why I did enjoy this. So I rated this one a 3 out of 5. Yes, I like this book more than the second book. I actually enjoyed this despite how I guess most people would say it's irrelevant. You don't really need to read it, blah blah blah. But I enjoyed this one. So yeah, this is a 3 out of 5 for me. Lastly, the last book of the series, which is A Court of Silver Flames. So in this book, it centers around Feyre's sister, which is Nesta, and we actually focus on Nesta and Cassian. Honestly, Nesta is my favorite character of the whole series because in a way, I kind of relate with her a lot. She has her struggles, she gets mad a lot, which is kind of what I'm like, but her anger is quite valid because of what she has been through. And I get it. She can be very aggressive and just overall a horrible person sometimes, but there's just so much depth to her character that I really like. So I'm a bit biased. I rated that book a 3 out of 5. And oddly enough, my favorite guy in the whole series is Azriel. I know he doesn't really show up a lot, but he's my favorite because he's just chilling. Because I like characters who are very quiet, but then they have like a really soft side and they're always there for girlfriend, family, whatever. Who wouldn't like Azriel, right? So yeah, favorite girl is Nesta, favorite guy is Azriel. And to be honest with you, the whole Akatar series, I'm not like too crazy about it. It's not like the best thing ever, but did I enjoy it? Yes, I did enjoy it. Is it my favorite series though? Probably not. There could be better ones out there. Yeah, that's just my whole take on the Akatar series, and I'm glad I finished it this month. So now that we're done with the whole Akatar series, I actually finished this one book that I've been reading for about 2 months now. I didn't start it this month, so don't go like all crazy that, oh, how the hell did she finish this in 1 month? Actually, no, I didn't. I finished it in 2 months. But, anyways, this next book is my 5-star read. So let me show it to you. As you can see, I tabbed the book a bit, and for my 5-star read, this is Little Women. So I actually watched the movie first by Greta Gerwig's version of Little Women, and I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite movies ever. So obviously I was like, I need to read the book. I need to read it. And it did not disappoint. Definitely did not disappoint. The whole time I was reading it, I did not want to stop. I wanted to take my time because it was just so fun. So many things were happening, and each character was very endearing. I like how different all of them are, but you can just feel the closeness of each girl. I just feel like this is the type of book that every woman should at least read once in their life, because this really talks about the struggles of just being a woman in society and how each of us have different ambitions in life. Like, for example, Meg, she wants all the riches in the world. She wants to have this and that. And then Amy, she wants to travel. She wants to put her name out there. She wants to be a big star. And then with Joe wants to write a book. She wants to be the best author out there, of course. And with Beth just wants to be with her family. She wants everyone to be happy. I like, in the end, it's very realistic because it shows that you cannot have everything in life. Life is not perfect. Well, if you reach your goal, good for you, right? But realistically speaking, we go through so many things, so many obstacles that get in our way, and sometimes we just have to try to make do with what we have around us, because they grew up in poverty. They don't have access to so many of those nice things in life, which is pretty realistic, right? Not all of us are millionaires, billionaires, or whatever. The bottom line is, despite all that, these women, they end up still being satisfied with their life. No, not just satisfied. They learn to be happy, find genuine happiness in their life, even if not everything goes the way they want to, because eventually something will happen for the better along the way. I could ramble on this book forever, but I'll save you guys some time. But you should go read this book at least once in your life. So, yeah, this is Little Women. This next book, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this book, but it's my first time actually finishing it. This is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This book was a bit of a struggle for me to read because I had a hard time reading Jane Austen's writing. It's quite wordy and lengthy, and her choice of words are very. It's not what I'm used to. The more I read it, the more I get used to it. So I was able to pick it up real quick. Now, I actually rated this book a 3 out of 5 because I didn't really enjoy the couple as much, Elizabeth Bennet and Darcy, Mr. Darcy. This is an enemies to lovers trope, but this is more of like the OG enemies to lovers story. Here's what I could say. This made sense. They had the conflict, they had the reason why they loathe each other. There was so much tension between them. And that's what I liked, okay? I like how each action that they do, each word that they say to each other, and every action that they do to each other, it makes sense. I also really like how Mr. Darcy, actually his personal development is one of my favorite character developments for me. I like how he recognized his faults. He tried to do everything he can to fix his wrongs. One thing's for sure, it is a classic for a reason, and it's not a bad read. I wouldn't necessarily recommend everyone to read it. I'm just glad that I understand the story now because this book was actually recommended back in high school for us, and we were supposed to read or finish this book for one of our assignments, and I never got to properly read this at all. I just read summaries and synopsis of the book, but I'm just glad that now at this day and age I was able to finish it, understand it, and be able to tell you my review. So yeah, that's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This next book I'm gonna talk about, I don't have the book with me, but I finished this book called Guild. I only listened to the audiobook and skimmed through the ebook for a while, and honestly, okay, I knew it was a dark fantasy, but like, is it dark romance, dark fantasy romance? I don't know. But this book, I did not like it at all. I actually hated it. Everything was just so graphic. And I wish I had read trigger warnings about it because there's just so much going on. If you want to read Guild, you need to check your trigger warnings first, which I think I should have done. There was It was just so gory, very violent, and most of there was also sexual assault, and most of the things happening I found very unnecessary. I generally don't know if this is how dark fantasies normally go, but I cannot stand stories that kind of romanticizes that kind of idea. I know a lot of people kept saying, "Oh, but the Plated Prisoner series gets better. Just read the other books, read the other books." But if the start of the book doesn't give me a good impression, then why would I continue the series? I need a reason to continue it. I need to be enticed from the very beginning. I don't want to keep reading a series just so that it could get better. I need it to be good already, and then it just keeps getting better, better, and better. There were just a couple of scenes in the book where I was just like thinking, what the hell is even happening? What am I even listening to? If you're into things like that, I hope you're not offended. It's just not my thing. It's not something I would really enjoy at all. Even the writing is not good. Even the writing and the story, everything was just so dragging, boring, unappealing. It was too much. So read your trigger warnings, guys. It's a lesson learned. We're down to the second to the last book, and this book is called How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. This book is okay. I went into this blindly because the title actually intrigued me. The synopsis of the book is about a guy who has this condition where he lives a really long life and doesn't age normally like other people. So I was thinking, okay, that's intriguing, right? But the story was just so slow. Oh my god, it was so slow. And there was a lot of unnecessary sentences, words, phrases added because okay, let's say I'm going out to drink coffee. That sort of thing would last like a whole chapter or something. That's how much unnecessary words were added to this book because I feel like this story could have been a lot shorter. And the crazy thing is, it's already short as is. I genuinely feel like this still could have been even shorter because everything was just so, I'm gonna say it again, dragging. It feels like they're trying to show us, yeah, there's still going to be a plot twist happening, but I feel like I don't think we need to see any plot twist. I don't really need any twists whatsoever because it's really just all about learning about the guy's life. And quite frankly, our main character, he's kind of boring because him living a long life is basically all there is to it to him. Nothing else. He has no personality, actually. I still gave it a 2 out of 5 because the concept is interesting, right? I guess it was just funny sometimes also because apparently our main character meets a lot of historical figures like Shakespeare and Captain Cook. So that's funny. Okay, guys, we are down to the last book for my book review. For our last book, we have The Only One Left. So this is a thriller slash horror slash mystery book, and it was my first time reading a book in that type of genre. So my book review should just be taken with a grain of salt if you do want to read it because I don't know. I enjoyed this book. I actually rated it a 4 out of 5, despite how predictable it is. So, if you read the book, yes, I predicted the big twist about, you know. Anyways, what I didn't like though is how towards the end of the story, there was just twist after twist after twist after twist. And I think sometimes less is more. The story captured the horror essence, the gothic elements, because I was genuinely like getting scared. Like I was up on my feet a lot. If you don't know, I'm really weak with horror. I cannot take anything related to that. I'm so scared. I'm such a scaredy cat. I don't like I don't watch horror movies at all. I don't really watch thrillers either cuz they scare me. I get scared so easily. I needed to be in a loud environment. I needed to be around other people. I couldn't put the book down. That's how interesting it was for me. And I didn't feel bored at all. I was always anticipating what was going to happen. It's just really towards the end where it's like, okay, that's enough plot twist because I think some of them it's like, okay, did you like add that in last minute or what? But anyways, it was still a fun read for me. That's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my book review for this month. If any of these books are your favorites, I'm sorry in advance if any of my reviews have offended you, but I'm just being a bit honest here, okay? So, take it very lightly. This month's book review was a bit more fun for me. I did end up finishing books that I mostly enjoyed, which is great because I'm tired of reading books that disappoint me. So if there are any other books that you would recommend to me, or as you can see here, I do have some physical TBRs on my list, so hopefully I'll be reading some of that. And if you have any recommendations, just let me know. That should be it for this video, guys. As always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!